Hello creative friends, this is Joy coming to you with a couple of panels. I'm using a Stampendous metal stencil for these panels. It's a gear stencil that I wanted to use with some basic modeling paste to put a texture on these wood panels to create like a steampunk kind of a background. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these panels at this point. I just know that I wanted to use the stencil with some modeling paste to add a gear texture to these panels and then figure out from there what I want to do with these panels. This is a couple of wood panels that my husband had cut for me to use for whatever, and I really like the steampunk kind of art, and so that's what I wanted to do with these panels, is to do a couple of panels with gears on them, and I'm not sure what else at this point, but I just figured I would just go with this stencil to start with and then figure it out from there. So I'm using the modeling paste with the palette knife, as you see there, to just put the texture on the panels, and then I'm scraping off any excess. So I also have these die cuts for gears, and I die cut out a bunch of different gears to use on these panels on a textured brown cardstock. And I'm just taking with a dry brush and brushing on these gears some blue acrylic paint just to get a little bit of blue color on these. And then I come back after I go over all the gears with a little bit of blue with some copper metallic paint. I have quite a few different metallic paints. I have like gold, antique gold, silver, but I decided to go with the copper metallic paint for these gears. So I also am dry brushing some of that over the top of these gears just to give them a little bit of shimmer and kind of make them look, I guess, kind of antique, or so they're not so pristine, kind of worn. So after the modeling paste dries on these panels, I get out my sprays and I spray it with some Adirondack spray that's a tan color, and then with the Delusions, or well, I think it's an Adirondack Espresso also, to give it some color to these panels. And then since I had some of the blue and the copper color left over, I decided to use that to go over the stenciled gears on these panels to kind of bring them out a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm kind of dry brushing a little bit of the blue on there, and then I come back with a little bit of the copper so that the gears that I have on these on the background will stand out a little bit more against the background that I sprayed. That way that it's not all blending in together. And I probably should have done this a second time, because at the end, after I was done putting these panels together, you couldn't really hardly see any of these gears that were in the background, and so I was having to try to put a second layer of the copper on the modeling paste, the top of the gears that I put on here with the modeling paste, just to kind of make them stand out. So I'm taking the gears that I created, the die cuts, and figuring out what kind of orientation that I want on these panels. And then I am using some quick dry glue that is actually for gluing down like heavier metal items, even though these aren't heavy metal, but they're going on a texture background, and it's a thicker glue, so, and it's pretty permanent glue, but I had them oriented incorrectly, and so I had to move them around, as you saw there. And then I decided that I wanted the other gears to actually be three-dimensional off the canvas, so I grabbed some foam adhesive dots to put on the back of the gears that I want to stand up off the panels. And I put those on there, and then I add some of the thick glue, quick dry glue to the back of those to help it to adhere better to the texture background. And after I actually had gone through and did all of this, I realized that I actually had some black foam adhesive dots, which would have worked better. But anyway, I use these white ones. And so as soon as everything dries, I will have to touch up a little bit of the white foam adhesive dots so that you can't see them. But for now, I mean, it's fine. So I'm putting on the last of the gear. They're the last gear that I have for that panel. And at this point, I'm still like, okay, I really like what I've done so far. Not sure what else to do. It seemed like it needed a title. So I went through my stash and found a title that says "We will become part of each other." So I thought that would work on these panels. So I put part of the quote "We will become" on the first panel, part of each other on the other panel, and I'm using my matte medium to glue them down onto the panels on these gear, or at least the gear that is glued to the panel instead of one that's standing up, because the big gear I actually glued it directly to the panel, and so I'm putting my title on top of that particular gear. And then here's where I realized that I've kind of lost, the gears that are in the background, and trying to add a little bit more of the metallic paint to those to help them stand out more. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. I hope you liked the video, and I really like the way the panels turned out. I thought it turned out pretty cool. And if you do like this video, you can hit the like button, or you can hit subscribe to see more of my videos, or you can leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I really enjoyed doing these art videos and showing everybody, what I do. Mostly I do journal pages, but I wanted to do something a little bit different this time. Not sure what I'm going to do with these panels, but I do like the way they turned out, and I was really happy with the way that they turned out. And so here I'm just continuing to just try to make some of those gears in the background stand out a little bit better. I'll probably, I don't know, hang these on the wall somewhere, but my craft room, as far as any wall space for hanging things, is pretty well full and covered right now, so we'll see what I end up doing with them, because being on a panel of wood, they can also stand up somewhere if I want them to stand up. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.